Welcome to Elevating La Cultura podcast, a space where I talk with Latinas who are passionate about what they do and are willing to share their passion with others to change the narrative, especially for the next generation. Each season is centered around different topics, but all with the Latina perspective. This is season 4, focused on artists and creators. So vámonos, and let's get into it. Hola! I have a fun interview with two guests today, primas, who are working together to empower women through writing, music, art, and dance as they draw their inspiration from none other than Frida Khalo. Please enjoy our conversation. A disclaimer, the sound is a little quiet for their interview, so you might need to adjust your volume. Thank you. Hola! I'm excited to have two guests on the podcast today. I am speaking with Norbella and Claudia, and they are in the theatrical space, and I'm just really excited for them to speak more on that and share their stories. So why don't I let you introduce yourselves?
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Claudia Renteria. I'm an actress from Morelia, Michoacán, Mexico. I've been here a long time in Chicago. I am mom of two kids. I have two grandkids. And I've been in the theater since I was 13 years old. I started in Morelia and continued here with the Gijón Theater, Teatro Latino, and we are here today to tell you about Cartas de Frida. Hello, my name is Norbella. I am from Chicago. I was born and raised in Chicago. My family is from Morelia, Michoacán. Claudia and I were cousins. Um, I I had the pleasure of growing up in Mexico. We lived there for about 5 years, and I came back at the age of 11, and I've been here ever since then. I'm a Spanish teacher. I am a mother of a 5-year-old, Valentina. Um, just thrilled to be here, Karina. Thank you for the time and the space.
Yeah, thank you so much for reaching out. I appreciate you emailing me. I always enjoy meeting new people, enjoy hearing different stories, and I have not been to Morelia yet, but it is on my list of places to visit. I hear that it is beautiful, and I can't wait to visit someday. But why don't you go a little deeper into your story? Like, what brought you to where you're at now?
Yes, so Norbella and me, we worked together in Pilsen in a show directed by Laura Croton. It was Son que me toques Lorca. So we had the pleasure to work together, Norbella as a dancer, me as an actress. And then a long time passed, we didn't do anything. So 4 years ago, um, we started talking about we were going through things in our lives. So we started talking about, hey, let's do something, um, let's go back to acting, let's do a performance, let's do a reading, let's do something. We are lovers of Frida Khalo, and so we got together, we started brainstorming. 4 years passed, we didn't do anything until one time, um, one day I called Norbella and I tell her, hey, Norbella, we need to meet because I have some news. Yeah. So Claudia called me and we need to get together. I have someone that might be able to help us get this started. We met at Temperance Brewery here in Evanston, and she's like, we need to do this. We need to do this. And I was so nervous because I didn't think I was ready. We cannot talk about it for years. Um, but I thought maybe my cousin's persistence is the pig that I need to get this started, right? So yes. We got so excited and we called our friend. We have a mutual friend, Jaime Garza, who is the third and I think that was on a Friday, and we met on a Saturday, and then it just started rolling from there. And when we were brainstorming during those 4 years, we wanted to give a space to women that let's have women to write their stories because we have a story. We're going through this. Let's have women write their stories, and so that's how we started getting letters from women. And and so we got together and we add music, we add theater, we add dance, and it became something really good. Like people is loving it. Yeah. When my cousin and I, we always get together, right, for dinner, for breakfast and the weekends. And like Claudia said, about 4 years ago, I was going through a separation, so I would always share my stress and my worries and what I was dealing with at that time with my cousin. And we talked about how fortunate we were to have one another, to have a strong community of primas and tias and my mom and my sister to be there for one another. But we talked also about how many women in our Latino community do not have the space, the time. They don't even think about expressing what they're going through. And that's where, we started thinking of something to do for ourselves because we wanted to go back to performing, but also involve women, also give voices to women that were out there and they needed to share their story and express their anger, their frustration, their love, their passions with everyone, letting it all out.
And I think that's so important because oftentimes, as women and as Latinas, we're told to repress our emotions or like just not share. I think at least I was conditioned to be strong and showing emotions, strong emotions, whether that was sadness, um, like I would be seen as weak, or anger, then I'm like what I was called the fiery Latina once. And it's always like when women show emotion, like it was not encouraged, at least not for me as when I was younger. And so this is so beautiful and so needed and so like a refreshing perspective to invite women to be expressive, and not just expressive in themselves, but like to be expressive in public, which is something that I am working on through therapy. I think it takes a lot of work to get to that point to be expressive with things that are so personal when you're in public. So, how do you, or have you had to help women on this journey of being more expressive, or just like how do you create that space so that they feel comfortable participating?
Well, not too long ago, I couldn't attend, but Claudia hosted a gathering of women. Um, and we are going to host a workshop where we're going to talk about Las Cartas de Frida, our inspiration, Frida being one of them, of course, and just guide them um, on the writing of letters. It could be to anybody, right? It could be a letter to themselves, it could be a letter to a lover, to a family member. It doesn't have to be always sadness, right? Um, so we host workshops so women can meet us. We talk, we share, and in the hopes of them feeling comfortable enough to share their story with us through writing. Yes, and so when we receive those letters, we rehearsal. We rehearsal right now. We rehearsal here at my house, your house, music, Norbella, there's a and so it's a really, really nice, sacred place to be creating and reading these letters from women that they are sharing their story. So for us, it's like really a special moment. Yeah, it's like bringing their story to life, right?
You mentioned that this was like 4 years in the making. So you were thinking about this and letting it simmer and brew for 4 years. I'd love for you to talk about like what were your thoughts during that time? Because sometimes it's hard to wait and hard to, like, you just want to put something out there. What were you doing during those 4 years to get you to the place now?
Well, a lot of gatherings, a lot of desayunos, and a lot of bottles of red wine. Mm-hmm. And just writing, just personal writing, right? Sharing books, sharing our writing with one another. Getting together, we would get together and then just read passages of books that would do something to our soul. Um, and just brainstorming. And it was just a time of creation, right? We were forming this baby together in these 4 years. What do you think? Yes, because we were there together. Oh, no, me pasó esto, me siento así, me esto, and she will tell me her story, and we will cry, we will laugh, or we will cook, like, oh, traje esto, vamos a hacer unos tacos or whatever. But then it was enough is enough, like, hey, let's do something. Okay, next time we get together, you're gonna bring some books, I'm gonna bring some books, and yeah, that's what we did. After we cooked, we started reading, whatever I wrote, whatever she got, and then started writing, and it kept going like that. But it was the idea, we had a dream. At one point, I was telling Norbella, like I will dress as Diego Rivera, like with my suit, no tummy, but with my suit and hat, and you will dress as Frida Khalo, and we can just go and perform. And it's like, Norbella, okay, wait, but what are we gonna do? What are we gonna perform? Or what? Like, oh yeah, right. So yeah, that was at one point that we had that idea, but then it kept, we kept thinking about it until one day I said, okay, I'm going to offer it. I'm going to offer it. I called, hey, I have this, we have this idea. We wanted to celebrate Frida Khalo birthday last year. Last year. Let's celebrate Frida Khalo. It was 1 month. Yeah, oh, and they liked the idea. Oh, yeah. We have this budget, whatever, and that's what I call Norbella, and that's how I guess that's la bomba explotó. Yes, yes. And in the meantime, too, again, we mentioned Frida Kahlo because she has been a huge influence in my life. And Frida Kahlo came to my life through my cousin Claudia. Many years ago, she took a trip to Mexico and she traveled to Coyoacan. And she just came to me talking about this wonderful Mexican artist. Um, she showed us her posters. She would let us borrow biographies of Frida Kahlo. And then at that time, I didn't really have anybody, like, we didn't talk about feminism. We didn't talk about liberation and expression, especially for us women, right? Um, and to me, that was Frida, right? Frida came into my life at the right time. So, we would read letters of Frida Kahlo because, she wasn't only a wonderful artist, she was also a wonderful writer, and that's what many people don't know about her, right? So we would read these beautiful written letters, and it was also part of the influence, that made Las Cartas de Frida come to life.
Yes, I recently went to Coyoacan and visited uh, the Frida Museum, and Diego's studio and Frida's studio, and it is amazing. Like, just to learn about her life and how she is influencing so many people today. So I'm not surprised that she was kind of like the catalyst for what you're doing. Are there any other influences in your life that contribute to what you're doing now, other than Frida?
Well, yes, for me, it's my family, my mom and my two sisters and my brother, um, my aunt, Peña, that she told me to come to cross over to come to the United States. I was 15 years old when I came, and she gave me her hand to cross over to help me. My cousins, the teachers that I had, the people that have influenced my life. And then, my mother. My mom is a very strong woman who has overcome so many obstacles, starting from her childhood to now. She's an amazing woman. My two sisters, Claudia has been a huge influence in my life. Claudia is an amazing woman, strong. My cousin Sylvia. I can go on and on. I love to surround myself by mujeres fuertes, mujeres chingonas that I can learn from. Um, my daughter is a huge inspiration for me. I want her to have a different perspective of life than the one that I had. And of course, I am also my own inspiration. Just I want to do what I want to do. And do what all my passions, my dreams, make mistakes, and just keep going, right?
Yes, I think it's so important to be intentional about the people who are around you and pouring into you and influential to not only like you as a person, but also like what you're wanting to do for other people through uh, the work of inviting people to write letters and share.
There is our main goal, right? To create that space for women, right? Um, we've all had similar experiences. We all have bad days, right? And sometimes, again, not the opportunity, the time to heal, to even heal. We just go on with our routine, with our day, those meals, work, and all these things that we do in one day. I don't even know how we do it all in one day, right? But that's what we want to do, and we want this to grow. We want um, give voice to so many women that need to be heard, right? Because I feel that no one's going to really create a space for us. No one's going to ask, hey, how are you doing? Do you want to talk about anything, right? Because we're all so focused on our life, our routine. But as women, it is, we know what we go through. And we both know that there are other women that don't have a Claudia, right? That don't have someone to share this, to share their experiences, their pain, their days, their routine with. Especially, I wanted to add, especially una mujer mexicana acá en Estados Unidos y, y que venimos acá a vivir, ¿no? A hacer una vida acá y ya con el acento que tenemos pues ya es muy diferente, ¿no? Entonces, tener este espacio donde todas las que venimos, nuestras familias que puedan ver que acá hay algo, ¿no? Que también, o sea, que aunque estemos lejos, de nuestra tierra que amamos, que hay algo acá, que nos apoyamos contando una historia, una carta con música y con velos y con velas y como lo creemos, ¿no? Que estamos acá y que tengan ese espacio, ese momento para sentir una conexión. And that is a blessing for us to be able to be doing that. Es una bendición que nosotros podamos tener este espacio para dar esos momentos de, de felicidad y de gozo a las personas.
Let's take a quick break because I'm so excited to announce it's finally happening. Join me on a guided trip to Mexico City this June as we learn about Mexican history, traditional cooking, and immerse ourselves in experiences that will cultivate thoughtful conversation about ourselves and our ancestral legacies. This is the time to pour into yourself and enjoy a meaningful and curated trip where I take care of everything in Mexico and all you have to do is enjoy. To get all the details and apply, visit garinamora.com. Now back to our guest. I appreciate what you both are doing for other people and for other women because it's so needed, especially after the past 2 years that we've all collectively gone through this trauma. This is so needed for all of us. And it's a big mission. It's a big responsibility to hold that space and to encourage other people. How do you make sure that you are in the right mental capacity, right headspace? What do you do for yourselves so that you can be the best for other people?
Okay, bueno, pues let's say, self-care, I self-care myself. I love walking. And when I cannot walk, I try to do stretching here at home, even that sometimes is hard because I don't have that motivation. Um, but I like reading. Um, what else? I like sometimes to do meditation. I try to do it I try to do it constantly. But if I'm not doing it, I just connect with myself. To start in the morning, like thank you, like just say thank you for this day. Uh, whatever the day is gonna be, I thank for the day, and that gives me, like a peace in my heart. And then at night, I say thank you for the day, whatever the day, however the day was. If it was like whatever it was, I thank for the day. So just connect with myself. Connect with myself en emanar paz, emanar like send peace, whatever I am. Go ahead, go ahead,
Well, it's hard sometimes to be there 100% with so many things that we do, right? Um, like I'm a teacher, I'm a single mother. I also, my sisters and I care for my father who lives alone and who has a lot of medical issues. So it is a lot sometimes, I don't sleep a lot sometimes, but what I try to do for myself in order to, like my cousin Claudia says, to reconnect again, I love to light incense, sage, unas limpias, because sometimes those are necessary. I meditate every so often, not as much as I should. I know it sounds really silly, but watering my plants gives me such peace. And that's my routine on Saturdays. I get up and I water my plants, and I don't know, seeing them thrive and green and beautiful makes me feel like I'm doing something right. Right? Reading a book, enjoying my cup of coffee in the morning. Um, you know, going to Reiki every once in a while also helps me. You know, it's hard to find time for myself. So I try to find beauty in the little things, like watering my plants, like working on a puzzle with my daughter, a phone call to my cousins, my sister. To me, that's therapy. Really.
I like that you said that, like, finding peace, joy in the little things, because I mean, it's real that we live full lives, especially if we are taking care of parents, if we're taking care of younger children, if we are working a job, like, we live full lives. And I think if the past 2 years has taught us anything, it has taught us to slow down and find those little pockets where you can appreciate something, even if it's just for like 5 minutes that you're watering your plants. And I think after like the past 2 years, like everyone has become a plant lover, or like has at least purchased some plants to take care of. I have myself kept, I think, 3 plants alive. So I am like, I get so excited to see that they are alive and thriving, and like you said, that I'm doing something right. And I also like that you said, Claudia, taking the time in the beginning of the day to like focus and be intentional, and then taking time at the end of the day to reflect and just kind of slow down and think about what happened throughout the day, be thankful for what happened, and kind of just close out the day. That it can be very peaceful. I talked to a few people on season 2 about self-care and like what it means to meditate, and it doesn't have to be hours long. It could be 5 minutes in the morning, and just introducing those pockets of time of being intentional throughout the day to find joy could be like so fulfilling in a way that we might not even realize. So I'm so thankful that both of you uh, shared how you kind of center yourselves, find that peace in order to and fill your cup in order to pour into everyone else. I think that is very needed, great wisdom. So thank you. Thank you. I know you mentioned working with a third collaborator. Do you want to talk a little bit more about how it is to like collaborate with family, and also to collaborate as a team of three?
Well, working with family is wonderful, right? Um, like I said, Claudia, it has been a big influence in my life. Um, so working together, all three of us, has been powerful, has been very fulfilling, right? In the beginning, what we had in mind is to have just all women working together, right? But when it came to that time that Claudia said, we got to do this, we could not think of anyone else to work with but Jaime Garza. Jaime Garza is a amazing musician. He is also very passionate about culture. Um, he is super talented, so we are very blessed that we all work together. It's wonderful. I love our gatherings. It's a potluck every single time we get together. We bring vino, mezcal, we cook or we order food, and we always say, "Oh, I gotta go soon. Okay, I can't be here this late." There have been times that we're here until 1 in the morning, right? Working or sharing our day, talking about our children. Um, we are all very passionate. We all have very passionate. We all very passionate, and we have our own ways of being. But I think that what we've learned, one thing we've learned that is very important, is to respect one another. And it wasn't like that in the beginning, right? Because we're all very strong characters. So when we were discussing anything, it was very easy for us to interrupt one another and trying to jump in each other's conversation. And I can honestly say that we have learned to listen before we say anything. So we give the person the space for them to express or to give their opinion on anything. And then, each one of us shares thoughts, about it. Um, Another thing that we've learned is not to push any ideas away. Whatever idea anyone has, we give it a try. I can be very stubborn, right? And if I would hear my cousin or Jaime, um, mention something, I don't know, an idea about the project, I was so fast to say, no, I don't like that, you know? And what Jaime would do is, okay, it's not bad, it's not good, let's give it a try. That's what he would say. Um, we would give it a try doing reversal, and if it was flowing well, it stayed. And if it didn't feel right, then we would eliminate it and try another idea. But that's something that we've learned to respect each other's ideas, thoughts, passions, and to listen before we speak. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes, definitely because we love performing. We're an artist. So we, like Norby said, we are so passionate about it. And we have all these ideas and everything. Uh, pero como digo de nuevo, porque es un espacio donde estamos creando, entonces it's really good because then we have the freedom. We have the freedom to do this, okay, we're going to do it this way. Oh, no, but no, not this way. Oh, okay, let's try, let's do it. Vamos a ponerle aquí, le ponemos acá, y luego le hacemos, y luego. So we start, doing all these things. But also like giving the freedom to each of us, like having this freedom of opinions, of ideas, of leyendo, cantando, whatever it is, like we are creating. So we have this sacred space where, con una botanita, leyendo, ya cantando, we ended up doing, amazing things that we love and things that are happening. Enjoy it very much.
I love that you say that there's always food and drink because that's like the culture, right? Like there's always food around and you're always like even like I'm inviting people over and it might not be like that's serious of a meeting, but I'm like, do you want crackers? Do you want cheese? You get una quesadilla con chorizo? Should we go to a restaurant? Like I think there's just this element of joy and um, sense of comfort when there's good food around. I think it makes the conversation flow better, deeper. And I don't know what that is, but it's definitely cultural, and I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's always something delicious to eat.
And I think we can learn it from our moms and nuestras familias, like, we get home and no llegues a casa sin nada, no vayas a llevar, no llegues sin nada. So it's like, or have something. We always offer food, and I think we have learned it, and now we enjoy it ourselves too.
Yeah, Yes, and I think it's a great thing to pass down to our kids, to always be like generous, inviting people in. And I think it also makes collaborating go smoother when there's like, I know that whenever I try to collaborate, I'm like, let's go get coffee. Let's go get something to eat, some tacos or botana, something. Um, so I think it makes the connection deeper.
Yeah, especially we all come from work. We all come from schools, from our morning job. We're there all day, and then we are driving for an hour to get here. And then we're here until 11 sometimes, even later. So it's just also it's dinner time. Yeah, it's a long day, but it's just so nice to get together. And there have been times where we don't see each other for a long time, and we're texting. Or I'll text Claudia and Jaime. I'm like, I'm going through a Claudia and Jaime withdrawal. We need to get together soon.
It's also like a therapy.
That's so beautiful that you have that deep relationship that has come together through art and just sharing stories. I think that we could all benefit from like deep relationships like that. So I get so excited when I see that modeled. Are there any shows that are coming up that people can like be looking out for, be a part of? Because I think that what you're doing is, like I said, very needed, can be very impactful, and I'm sure people after listening are going to want to get involved and check out this space. So is there like shows coming up?
Yes, right now I live here in Evanston, and so we perform in October. That's when we got the green light to go for our first show. Um, Evanston Latinos Organization. Yes, they gave us, they said, hey, we want to celebrate the Hispanic Heritage Month here in Evanston for the city of Evanston. And so we performed, and they liked it, they loved it. People was really happy, and we enjoyed it a lot too. Um, and then we performed a couple of shows we did here in Evanston, mainly for children. And so we're going to work with them again. We're going to prepare a show for the Mother's Day, para el Día de las Madres, aquí en Evanston. So yeah, we thinking right now we brainstorming what we're going to do, but we've been very lucky to work with Evanston Latinos, and because they have given us the space, and Evanston has there's a lot of Hispanic people here, and it's a need to for us to do a show over here, to do theater, music, and all we do here. So we are very fortunate.
Yeah, Evanston Latinos has been very supportive, and it's wonderful to be able to share what we have, Las Cartas de Frida, to the Latino community here. We're also working on something, on a celebration for Frida Khalo's birthday in July. So it's something that, we are still working on. You can follow us on Instagram, Cartas de Frida, and we try to update it as much as we can. And future events we can be able to find information on Instagram.
Can you share more about these events for kids? As a parent, like I'm always like looking for things to take my kids to, especially if they're going to be immersed in their culture. So can you share a little bit about like what the show would be like?
Well, for the events that we've had in the past, like we try to still, even though they're for children, right? We don't, read the letters of women in these children performances, but we do keep the theme going, right? So it's more like a story time. So Claudia does the interpretation of the books. I do the dancing, and Jaime brings in the beautiful music, and it all just wraps up beautifully. Children participate, they engage, and it's a beautiful um, performance for children, but parents also enjoy it. There's a little bit of everything for children and for parents as well.
Okay, I'll have to be on the lookout and share for that Mother's Day event.
Oh, please do so. You would love it. Your children would love it as well.
So, are there any ideas or limiting beliefs that you've had to work through as Latinas to be able to do what you're doing now?
Yes, well, at one point of my life, I was going through a divorce, and I was told that whatever I didn't do when I was single, I couldn't do it when I was married. So I wanted to do theater, but then I was told not to, and that had a big influence in just thinking like I couldn't do anything uh, that I didn't do when I was single. Um, so I just want to bring that up because, you know, for women out there that are married and want to do something like something that they like, just do it. We can work together. Like we cannot stop doing things that we like. Uh, so that was one thing. That was one thing in my side, just be able to do what I love, and, and that is important to, to go beyond, como ir sobrepasar las cosas y en el final uno sabe lo que le gusta y, pues lograrlo poquito a poquito. Uno puede ir haciendo un caminito y ir viendo que le gusta y hacerlo. Pues,
Yeah, and as for me, I grew up in a very traditional Mexican household. Both of my parents were super strict. My dad, hombre típico machista mexicano, right? That have to believe that women stay at home to cook, to clean, to have children. The daughters are expected to learn what the moms are teaching you, right? And that is um, cooking, cleaning. Because one day, my mom would always say, if you get married, they're going to send you back because you don't know how to cook, right? But my brother was able to go outside and play with his friends and ride a bike and be gone all day, right? And I'm the oldest. He's younger than me. Um, but so it was a challenge to break that myth of the mujer tradicional Latina, right? Um, so I feel that I had to break through a lot of barriers, right? I not only got divorced, I it's just that belief that you have to put up with everything no matter what because of your children, your family, your husband, and you are left behind, right? It's about the family. Also, being a single mother, right? What are people going to say, right? Also, going to school and going to work and having to leave your child with anyone, not anyone, but your family to for you to get ahead in life. Just breaking that myth of la mujer tradicional latina has been a struggle for myself, right? Um, and I'm sure for many other Latinas. And to me, that is something very important, right? Also, talking about Las Cartas de Frida, being able to express oneself, I think is very important. We go back to how our conversation started, right? Not having the time, the space to say what we want. And yes, our families, um, as children, I grew up in a family where children are only there to be looked at, but not to be listened to. Right? Nobody really asks a child, "How's your day going?" Right? What did you do in school today? How do you feel today? Right? And it's just another um, something that I'm working on. As a mujer, feeling comfortable expressing myself and teaching my daughter that it's okay to express yourself, that it's okay to cry, that it's okay to ask, that it's okay to say. Right? And it's something that we have to learn, and I feel that we're getting there. I think the new generation of Latinas is just so out there. It's powerful, it's inspiring, and I feel that we are changing um, el camino, the path for our new generation. Um, and this new generation is strong, right? They don't no tienen miedo de nada, and they have the tools, they have the resources, they have the world in their hands, right? And I think this generation is changing our society, is changing the world. And I'm proud of them.
Yes, I agree. I am so excited for what this next generation is going to create, produce. Uh, and yeah, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of my kids. What encouragement or advice would you give the next generation?
I would say just be you, right? Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to love whoever you want to love. Don't be afraid to say who you are and how you identify. Again, going back to expression, express who you are. Um, Read, right? Be proud of your heritage. Um, Always, just read, find out where you came from, where your parents came from, your abuelos, because in order to find ourselves, I think it's very important to know where we came from, right? And and be open about feelings. Right now, you mentioned mental health. I think mental health is something that we don't really talk about in our community, right? Depression, suicide is something that we don't talk about. It's still a taboo in our families, in our Latino communities, and we have to talk about it because it's a problem. It's a problem, and we have to teach our children that it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to share how you're feeling. Um, and our young boys too. Not only women, not only girls um, cry. Right? It's okay to teach our young boys that it's okay to cry. And I think changing or giving them the comfort and the security, they will grow up being more outspoken about themselves and just in general.
Whatever the dream is, just put it out there. Say it to somebody. Just say it because you don't know who's going to hear it. And they might have like, you're going to get a connection somehow if you put it out there. If you ask questions, if you say it, you have it in here, but if you say it, somebody's going to hear it. And you're going to, you, someone is going to give you their pen and they're going to say, hey, it's a free class here or whatever. Um, and also have great communication with your parents, even, like yo soy de México y mis hijos crecieron acá, entonces ellos hablan más inglés que, bueno, hablamos Spanish, eh, pero bueno, ya yo traigo las mismas ideas, diferente que ellos, pero siempre hablamos y siempre estoy abierta a escuchar lo que ellos me digan. Entonces, mis hijos y tenemos una comunicación muy buena. Mi hijo tiene 27, ya mi Daniela tiene 21. Entonces, siempre vienen a contarme cosas. Y a veces, aunque no, a veces no, les digo, es que no necesitas tenerlo todo ordenado. Está bien que todo esté desordenado. That's how it is. Because they teach us like, oh, you have to have this right. You have to do this right. You have to, like you have to go to do. And no, that it's okay to have everything. If you don't have anything organized, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Like wherever you are, it's gonna be okay. Y siempre decirte todo lo que me pasa está a mi favor. Everything that happens is on my favor. And, and for parents, um, it's great that like how I was telling Norbella, like how I started theater is because my mom signed me up for a summer class. How I choose to um, theater class and Hawaiiano class. And and in that I was like probably like 10 years old, and I love theater. And maybe you as a parent, if your kid wants to go to a class, just look the resources. Like right now I work as a family engagement care in Evanston in the Head Start program. And a mom, she just told me, hey, how can you help me to get free classes or long classes, music classes for my son? So I started making phone calls now. Her son is going to a music class, 4 years old. So always, whatever the kids want to do, help them out, and just make calls, just make noise out there because it's free. Yeah, sometimes it's free, sometimes it's there are a lot of resources, and you just have to talk. You know, they say put it out there. Oh, mi hijo quiere ir a esta clase, o quiero esto, ¿dónde lo puedo conseguir? And it's gonna happen.
And I think that's the case with a lot of our Latino parents. Um, they don't know the resources that are out there, right? And I'll speak for myself. When we were really young, there were four of us, right? And all four of us are very talented, very artistic. But my mom didn't know how to go about it, right? She didn't know where to reach out. Like for example, she knew my sisters, are very wonderful artists, and they draw beautifully, right? But that's as far as it went, right? Because a lot of parents don't know what resources are around the community in order for their child's, talents to grow. And like Claudia said, look around, like art districts, they have such wonderful programs, right? So there is always something out there that can benefit the children, and sometimes at very low cost.
Mm-hmm. This conversation was so good, and I'm very thankful for you just sharing your story, sharing your wisdom, and sharing a space is that is creating a community that is very strong. So I'm just thankful for you reaching out and being willing to talk about what you're doing. Can you share where people can find you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, Becca, thank you so much for having us. It's been so fun, and it's been wonderful to share this space with you. Um, Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been an honor, and it's been fun. You can find Las Cartas de Frida in Instagram at Cartas de Frida. That's how you find us. Also, for all those women out there who are listening, I know it takes a lot to share your personal story. Um, but if you feel comfortable, we would love for you to have your story, to read your letter, and to have it be part of our performance. If, if you are willing to share your story with you, please send us your letter through Instagram. Send us your information and we will get back to you.
Sí. Muchas gracias, Karina, por tu trabajo que haces. Muchas gracias por este espacio que nos das a las mujeres latinas. Es un honor estar aquí para nosotros. De pensar que 4 años estuvimos pensando en hacer esto y ahora estar aquí este día compartiéndolo con alguien y con una persona que está dando este espacio a mujeres y que nos estás dando este espacio. Muchas gracias por tu trabajo y por esta oportunidad.
Yes, thank you so much. This was amazing, and I'm excited to meet you in person soon, hopefully in the next few months. And I encourage everyone to go and follow. So thank you for everything that you're doing, and we will talk soon. Bye. What a great conversation about learning the importance of expressing ourselves, tapping into our emotions, and then teaching the next generation to do the same. I hope you follow Las Cartas de Frida and attend one of their upcoming shows, and maybe I'll see you there. Okay, amigos, thank you so much for listening. There'll be a new episode every Tuesday, so after you listen, feel free to take a screenshot and post on Instagram and tag at Elevating La Cultura or send me a DM. You can also comment on this YouTube video if you're watching online. I always like to hear from people and how they resonate with the stories that I share. So leave a review on Apple Podcasts so we can get more ears listening to these stories and we can continue elevating la cultura. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening, y nos vemos next week. Bye.